Okay, so I've taken the opportunity to drill both these boards, and you can see, come on, there you go. You can see I've been sort of busy sewing away here. Now, one key difference between this and other restorations is when I've restored larger books, you'll know that, or you'll have noticed, that I tend to use three sections of twine for each set of three holes. I haven't done that here. These are really quite, as you can see, these are quite small boards. They're very light, very thin. So there just isn't, a real risk of them taking any sort of heavy weight. So that just enables me to go with one. I'm trying to sort of go with a less is more approach to some extent here, and just, the result I want to be, a relatively light and obtrusive binding. The value in this book is in its prior ownership history. It's not in how luxurious the binding looks. So, okay, so just tighten these loops up a little bit. Just all right. So there we go. This book is starting its journey slowly into being I call it a book now, not a bundle of pages or a text block. It's starting its journey slowly. This glue just needs to dry a little bit further, and I'll trim this. Obviously, I'll trim this twine. Now, what's quite interesting is you'll see it really does stand out. The fact the base has more thickness than the rest of the text block, and that's because we've had to do quite a lot of repairing of pages here and there where they've come apart. Now, I was thinking initially that was a problem, but I'm kind of getting to the position now where it may actually be an opportunity, because what it might enable us to do is to reinforce some of these pages that are very degraded. Particularly, the important ones at the front, for example. Just put extra layers of paper here and there just to reinforce some of the pages where there's a lot of foxing and crumbling starting to happen, like here, which will make this end a little bit thicker, which is all right, So I think we'll end up with a book that maybe is more like this than like this. But anyway, there we go. So we'll trim these, and the next step then is, once this is dried, is to put a section of very thin cardboard over here, and then we'll start thinking about putting a nice piece of leather on the spine. So the boards are now attached, and I've taken the opportunity to stick down the fabric to the boards. So this sort of kitchen towel is just here to protect the end papers, make sure that they don't stick across like so. So I did take the opportunity just to buy a couple more bags of leather scraps, and I can't recommend these enough. They cost $8, and you just get a total mix of different leathers. I mean, look at that enormous red piece. That's going to keep me in the labels for years to come, I think. That just really nice pieces of differing thicknesses, different styles, So I've settled on this piece to use the spine, so I've cut that shape there. So what I'm going to do now is just put this onto the book. Now, with other restorations I've done, you've seen that I tend to use two reasonably thick pieces of card. That's really not necessary here. Again, I really want to go for a sort of less is more approach. I really want to try, keep things towards the thin end, as it were, with this book. Like so. As you'll have seen from the time I've done it, when I've done this before, I stick the cardboard to the leather, but never to the text block. The text block's basically now done, that's set, and it's important not to stick anything further to that because we want the leather to, that we put on the spine to be able to flex nicely. So, just gonna There we go. And the only purpose of this card is just to act as a little barrier. So when I put the leather on, the leather also doesn't stick to the text block. Just acts as a little separation there, and that means that as the book flexes, when the covers are opened, the covers will come away with the cardboard and the leather at the back. See it flexing? So it doesn't force the leather to act as a pivot here, which means the leather will have a much longer life when we put it on. So that's now ready to have the leather added. So I'm going to just let this rest for a little while, let the glue kind of dry out here, like so. And then the next step will be putting on the leather. Okay, so we're ready to attach this piece of leather. I've already cut the slots in the bottom and the top. Once the leather's attached, we're going to use a slightly different method to normal. If you see, look at these bits of paper I've just got here. This is such a small book that I'm not going to be able to build the usual sort of brace that I do using ties and shims. And the reason is that these compartments are just too small for me to really get the tie in there. So what I'm going to do additionally is I've just created these little segments, and they're just going to sit between the compartments here and just help to press the leather down. We'll see how much of a raised band we really get. I mean, it's a small book, but I'm going to do that additional step, and hopefully that'll just create a little bit more of an impression. But anyway, this guy is ready to attach now, so I'm going to get gluing, and then we'll have a look at where we go afterwards. Okay, the leather's on. This will take a little while just to sort of set and dry. It'll be interesting to see just how much of a show through of the raised bands we get. It's pretty difficult to tell at this point. This book's just so small. Yeah, a little bit. What I'm tempted to do is to actually experiment with potentially trying to make this look a little bit fancier. This book was written in 1698, and typically for books in French of that time that were in leather, you'd expect to see a little bit of gilting and labelling and so on and so forth. So what I'm thinking of doing is experimenting, this is just from my general binding box of scraps, is actually experimenting with some of these compartments here to actually create some nice patterns that we can use in a small way on this book. Probably be quite conservative about it, but if we get a reasonable show through of the bands and, you know, there are some obvious compartments there, it'd be quite nice to actually just have a go at doing a little bit of decoration and maybe creating an actual titular label from a little piece of this red, you know, that references what the book is. So that's to come, but for now we're just going to let this book rest, let the glue set, and we'll take it from there.